Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club, greeting you from California. And I am your Sergeant at Arms acting stand-in, and welcome here. I want to ask you to please disengage your telephones so we won't have any interruptions. And I would like you to help me welcome President, distinguished Toastmaster, and general influencer, Cynthia Stott. Take it away, Cynthia. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. And welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness, it's January 24th already. And I'm so excited that you're here today, but we're going to have a wonderful meeting. And first, I want to make sure, did someone take a picture of all of us, including our guests? Can someone do that?
Oh, God.
Linda or Victor?
This is Isaac. I can take a picture.
Isaac? Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, on the count of three, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, great. Well, welcome. And this, I want to read the Toastmasters International mission statement and the club statement and about our core values, why we're here. We empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. Our core values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in a greater self-confidence and personal growth. And here at Leaders Worldwide, we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message heartfelt, authentic, and ready for the worldwide stage. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide. And I want to give a big welcome to our guests. I hope to have a couple of minutes to welcome you, but first I want to make an important announcement about our TEDx event and our philanthropic project. So we're hoping to create our own TEDx organized event here at Leaders Worldwide, hopefully sometime in the fall, and also marry that with the philanthropic project to support 4 schools in Pakistan and through the Citizens Foundation. And so I'm very happy to do that. But first, we have to get our house in order. We have to make sure that we have all of our members are on Easy Speak, entering their speeches, the speech names, titles, and project numbers, and all of that, and their meeting roles. And the reason why that's important is because, number one, we can't move to the next agenda unless all of that information has been entered. So even after the fact, it's really important that it's entered so it can go on to the next one. And that will free up Kathleen Pill, who's the VPE, and Victor Irving Jenkins, who's on our VPE team, and me, myself, because I somehow ended up on the VPE team, even though I'm president, because as president, the buck stops here and everything has to work and I have to work it. But I want to clear up something. Some of our members were under the impression that I was paid by Toastmasters International and that Kathleen was paid by Toastmasters International and that Victor was paid by Toastmasters International. And I want to let you know, none of us are paid. No officers are paid. In fact, no officers are paid in Toastmasters all the way up to the international president. The only ones that are paid are on the actual organization side, the people you call on the phone, and also the CEO. So they're paid, but we are not. It's an entirely volunteer organization. Another misunderstanding that one of our members thought was that the officers all made up of retirees, so they don't have a job, so they can do the work. They are not retirees. They have full-time jobs and or work for themselves, which is a full-time job, and then some. So none of us are paid. And I don't think any of our official officers are retired. We're all working. So many hands makes light work. And so we really appreciate your collaboration and getting that in. And Carol, Kathleen is going to create a video with a tutorial to make sure that you know how to enter all that information. Now, why I'm saying that is because when I looked at the agendas on Saturday, we had only 1 out of 6 speakers that entered their information. And I've been chatting away for 3 months about how we need you to fill in your information, or else we can't go on with the TEDx event. And that's true. So here's the thing. If you do your part, then we can do our part. And I have started looking into the philanthropic part, and it is my birthday tomorrow. And Facebook offers that you can have a philanthropic organization for your donations for your birthday. So I started that yesterday. And so we'll be doing that for a few weeks. And we also had a very special link for Leaders Worldwide for the Citizens Foundation. That's all our own. So we'll collect all the donations that we have received throughout the time. But I'm not going to send that out and make it public until we're up and running on Easy Speak and with our agenda. And that will just make everything run smoother and easier. And then we'll have lots of time to plan and create the TEDx event, which I know you're all excited about being on. Great. So with that said, I'm going to open the meeting with a welcome to our guests. And I just have a couple minutes just to say hi to our guests. And I'm just going to run through and say hi. We have one of our regular guests, Roger Swenson. Thank you. We have Marlon Parieaho, who is our keynote speaker and resident superstar. I know things blew up on Facebook with having you on there about your speech today. Our timer, Yogesh, he is also one of our guests, and we really appreciate him. We have Ray Rivero from District 28. Welcome, one of our guests. And we have our grammarian, Varsha Sharma, and we welcome you as well with your lucky hat. I love that. And let's see if we have Carrie Kelly, who's a guest, who hasn't been here for a while. She was a member, and we welcome you back as a guest. So glad to see you here today. And we have Margaret Bartholomew, also from Trinidad, to be here to support Marlon. And then we have Shirley Mohammed, who I believe is also from his club. She's a guest. And that's it. We're doing great. Okay, so now I will introduce you to our Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Victor Irving Jenkins. Take it away.
Now let's make sure I am not muted. Now, if you heard what I just said, that means that I am not muted. And if I'm not muted, that's my first opportunity to be embarrassed today, and I passed it because I'm not embarrassed, because obviously I'm not muted. Nobody says, "You're muted!" Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's meeting of the Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Organization. And this week our theme is overcoming obstacles. As your acting Toastmaster of the day, I'm going to be sort of like the MC of the meeting. And if you like being Toastmaster of the day, the next time maybe you can be MC of the meeting. Our president didn't mention it, so I'm going to mention it. if you like coming here, if you like what happens at this meeting, we want to invite you to join our club because there is opportunity to become a member of Leaders Worldwide. And what would be the benefit? Well, I just told you one. You'd get to be the Toastmaster of the day because visitors can't be Toastmasters of the day. Notice in our chat we have a link to our agenda. It is very important that we have an agenda because an agenda is how we moderate, how we manage our meetings. And if you look on the agenda, you'll see that I am the Toastmaster of the day, and my job right now is to introduce the meeting theme, which I just did, and that's to be followed by the general evaluator. Well, guess what? Hold on to your seats. I got a surprise for you. I'm also the general evaluator. Ooh, right. So if you want to be the general evaluator once again, join Leaders Worldwide. As the general evaluator, it is my job, number one, to evaluate the meeting. So the president just told you about the mission of a Toastmasters Club and the mission of Leaders Worldwide specifically. So it is my job at the end of the meeting to say how well we did that. It is another part of my job to introduce the evaluators, and the evaluators are the ones that evaluate the prepared speakers. The prepared speakers have a certain amount of objectives that they are to accomplish, and it is the evaluator's job to tell them how well they did that, and it is my job as a general evaluator to tell the evaluator how well they evaluated the meeting. Also part of the general evaluation team is a person that we call the grammarian, and that person also tells us what the word of the day is, and that's of particular significance in another aspect of the meeting. But for now, will the grammarian tell us what you do in this meeting and what the word of the day is, what the word of the day means, and perhaps use the word of the day in a sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, the grammarian. Take it away, Varsha Sharma.
Hello, Toastmasters and dear guest. Okay, shall I continue? General
Yes.
Evaluator?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guest, today I, Toastmaster Varsha, is the grammarian of today's meeting, and my responsibilities include paying a close attention to all the speakers, noting down the good usages, the outstanding usages, and not so good usages, and developing a report over that. Also, today's word of the day is climax. The phonetics are climax. It can be used as a noun as well as a verb. If we use it as a noun, the usage is we are nearing the climax of Leaders Worldwide meeting. And as a verb, I can use that as my day climaxed with meeting my fellow Toastmasters at Leaders Worldwide Club. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Varsha. We really appreciate that. Now back to the duties of the Toastmaster. This meeting, or a meeting like this, or a meeting like any other Toastmaster meeting, doesn't simply occur. It occurs with a team of people, and you just heard one of the team, the grammarian. There are other members of the team, the general evaluator, the Toastmaster, the timer, and such. And the good news is in Toastmasters, these roles are generally standardized. So if you've been a timer in one meeting, you can be a timer in nearly any meeting. At least that is what the desire of Toastmasters is. So now I would like for the timer to introduce themselves. And after you introduce yourself, tell us what you're going to do and how you're going to make sure that people who are speaking adhere to the time. Because as we all know, some people will just keep talking if the timer didn't tell them it was time to be quiet. And you know some of those people, don't you? Some of those people are in our meetings. I'm not saying that anybody here is like that, but some people will just keep talking and never stop for any reason. So that's why we have a timer, and let's go on with the timer. Timer, introduce yourself and tell us how you're going to make sure that nobody gets diarrhea in the mouth. Give them a round of applause.
Thank you, General Evaluator and the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Victor. Today, myself, Yogesh, I'm unable to come on camera because of my ill health, but still, my voice is good because I'm preparing for an IAC contest. Now, As a timer for today's meeting, I'm gonna time the meeting for the prepared speeches, the keynote session, the topics, and the evaluation. The time in particular will be announced at a particular key slot, but I'm going to use some special cards today for this meeting as a timer. Hope everyone is able to see my background. Once the speaker starts speaking, we have the start button, start screen, and once he has crossed the minimum amount of speech, we'll have green light. When he's in between the speech, we'll have the amber or the yellow light. And as the Toastmaster today suggested, everyone needs to stop at some point. So we are having this red light. And a buffer of 30 seconds would be given as per the Toastmaster International rule of time. So that 30 seconds is a buffer time where people should understand after seeing the red light that they need to stop speaking. So with that, for the keynote speaker in particular, the time duration is 13 minutes to 15 minutes. At 13 minutes, I will show green light. At 14 minutes, I'll show yellow light. At 15 minutes, I'll show the red light. So with that, over to the Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Victor.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Anyone speaking, be sure and pin the timer so you will be able to see the colored lights and won't go over your timing allowance. It is now time, and as you can see by our agenda, we are nearly right on time, and I'm very proud of that. Timer, notice that it's 11:15. We're supposed to introduce him, and right now it's 11:17. So, without further ado, Marlon Parieaho. That's pronounced Parieaho. That's everybody pronounce his name so everybody get it right. That's Parieaho. Parieaho. Marlon Parieaho. Okay. Marlon Parieaho is a division program quality director in Trinidad and Tobago, a tiny country in the Caribbean. He joined Toastmasters in 2018 and has been enjoying all the knowledge, training, and fun ever since. His eclectic background has empowered him in many ways. Neither his blindness, that's what I said, his blindness, or any other obstacle has impeded his progress in any way, and today he will tell us all about that. Help me welcome Marlon Parieaho as he does his keynote entitled When Life Gives You Lemons. Marlon, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. And he's really excitable. I like him already.
Me too.
When I was a boy, I had grand plans for my life. I wanted to have a large house by the age of 30. I wanted to be a millionaire by the age of 40. And I wanted to be married to Halle Berry.
Don't
I
we
am
all?
now 41, and my house is the size of most palatial bedrooms. I am several hundreds of thousands of dollars short of my millionaire goal, and I follow Halle Berry on Twitter. So clearly, I'm on the right track. I'm getting there. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Marlon Curtis Parieaho. I was born on the 12th of June, 1980. Now, my name is pronounced Pa-Re-Ho. Pa as in parallel parking, Ray as in a ray of sunshine, and Ho as in the gardening tool or the other thing. Now, those who ask me if my name is Portuguese or Spanish or some other language, but the truth is very much stranger than fiction. The truth is my grandmother, who wasn't very big on spelling, spelled the name incorrectly. So when someone asks me what language is my name, I guff up my chest and I proudly say typographical error. Clearly, truth is stranger than fiction. But my plans, my illustrious plans that I set for myself did not include going blind at 31. It definitely did not. On April 1st, 2011, I was told by the best ophthalmologist in my country, in his best ophthalmology voice, Marlon, you have glaucoma and it's very advanced and it's very aggressive. So there's a very good chance that you will never see again. Because it was April 1st, obviously I thought it was a joke. Of course, there would be pretty nurses jumping out of bedpans and behind screens and under the bed and saying, April Fools, April Fools. Unfortunately, it was not a joke. It wasn't even a bad joke. I was totally blind. And like all the great blind people who went before me, I probably went into full-blown denial. I couldn't believe that it would happen to me. The police? Come on, the police? You know how many people I arrested? You know how many criminals that my sketches caught? Because before I was a forensic artist, which meant that I drew persons' descriptions, drew persons' likeness from victims' descriptions. So I couldn't afford to be blind. And in my country, there's a misperception. Well, I had that same misperception then, that when you are blind, you have to make baskets for a living, because that's what most people in my country thought. And I thought the very same thing. Not me, definitely not me. But in going through my denial, I also went through all of these stages. And I'm telling you this specifically, that everyone who gets a disability goes through the same stages: denial, anger, shame. I used to be ashamed, cover my face, don't want to leave the house. But I went through the entire cycle in a month. Now, the thing is that there are some people that ask me, Marlon, how do you do it? And I would usually answer with another question. The question is not how do I do it? It's more important in why do I do it? And that's true for every one of us here. We go through a lot of stuff, but the whole purpose is the whole thing is the why you are doing it. For all the persons who look at Matrix, I looked at Matrix already, and there's a part where the Frenchman said, you have no why. And if you have no why, you have no purpose. Why do you do it? And then I realized, why should I cope? Why should I do well in spite of my blindness? And then another question popped up. Not just why should I, why shouldn't I? And you must ask yourself that question as well. The reason why I did it, it's not for me. It was for my children. I thought, like most little children, that their friends at school would pick on them because their father's blind. So I decided, listen, I want to be so big and so popular that my children would boast about me instead of being ashamed that their father had a disability and is not doing anything. And now I'm glad to say that my daughter, who's 18 now, told me, Dad, you know, if I type your name in Google, the amount of things I'm seeing about you. And that is why I did it. When you consider why you should do something, the how becomes simple. Here's another thing. I travel from my home to work. And in Trinidad, there is no paratransit. There are no trains or things of that nature. Everything is sort of like Uber without the Uber type feel. You travel in vehicles in company with other persons, and you get out and you go in another vehicle. So I take 3 sets of transport. And people ask me, man, how do you do that commute every day and back home? You know what I tell them? I tell them, you would not imagine how simple something becomes when you have to do it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably nodding your heads right now. Yes, when you have to do something, you will find a way to get it done. And the how becomes simple. For me, I decided that obviously I couldn't chase bandits, and directing traffic would be a problem, right? But I could do things otherwise in my country to assist people with my disability and other persons without. I realized, listen, why should I settle for coping when I can conquer? Why should I settle for merely existing when I could excel? And I learned from a deaf blind guy at my country's Blind Welfare Association. He said that I'm already blind. Now, he said in a funny way because he was partially deaf, so he sounded a bit muffled, but I understood what he said. He said, I'm already blind and I'm already half deaf. Makes no sense to have hypertension and depressed as well. And he said, when you think about it, 3.5 out of 5 isn't that bad. And that hit me like an epiphany. He had 3.5, I had 4. 4 out of 5 ain't that bad. And I'm talking about the senses. And that's the name of the book that I'm writing, which is called 4 out of 5 ain't bad. So I learned from him. And I said, why do I just settle for just existing when I could excel? And then I joined, before that, I started going to schools and churches, spreading the message that, listen, I do not allow society's perception of how I should be to dictate how I am. Only I, and for those who believe, God decides who I should be, not society. There are some people that believe that a blind person should not be happy. I'm laughing all the time. And as Cynthia would know very well, when you laugh at yourself and you don't sweat the small stuff, you realize that it is a lot healthier to get better. Even in Toastmasters, you make a mistake in your club, you laugh it off, you get evaluation, you laugh it off, and you keep going. And it's the same thing with me. I tell them that the children that I speak to, do not allow the color of your hair, the texture, the color of your skin, the texture of your hair, whether you're an orphan, your address, whether you're a single parent, no parents, your economic status, do not allow that to stop you from achieving your full potential. Because I believe that when life gives you lemons, why settle for mere lemonade? Why not settle for lemon ice cream or lemon wine? Why just settle for lemonade? And that was my mantra all through it. But I realized that I needed to learn a bit more because I was speaking and it was a bit disjointed and jumbled up. So then I joined Toastmasters in 2018. And with it came a whole new bunch of challenges. How do I do the timer? How do I evaluate a speech? How do I be the grammarian? And thank God that Toastmasters Clubs has mentors. And every time I said, how can I do this? My mentor simply said, let's try it and see. And he learned as well. There are timing apps that I can use. And I have done every single role in the club, from Toastmaster to accountant. I've been my club's president, I've been my club's vice president of education, and so on. I have gone to different clubs and spoken, and I've even competed in table topics at the district level, where I went to Haiti all by myself. And I am so glad that I can report to you that there's a young lady who I did not know that I impacted simply by arriving at the contest. Sometimes you may think that you cannot motivate and inspire someone, but sometimes you can do it simply by showing up. It was 2 years later, I arrived at the speech contest in 2019, and it was years later that she said that she was thinking about leaving Toastmasters. And then she saw me arrive in Haiti by my lonesome and deliver my table topic speech. And then she asked herself, what is my problem? This guy can't see past his nose. And he arrived here on his own and competed. She was the past district director. I am so happy that I inspired one person because I just existed, because I decided to excel rather than exist, because I decided to move further and further and learn more and more and more. My goals for myself at this time is to become my division's area director, because I firmly believe that the sky is the limit. It all depends on how you look at things. I may not be able to see where I'm going, but I know where I'm going. Once you know where you're going, the fact that you can't see beyond your nose becomes irrelevant. I may not have sight, but I have a lot of vision. And I do hope that you have vision for yourself. Half empty or half full, it depends on how you look at it. For example, you may think that a blind person speaking at the international speech contest will be difficult. Yeah, but this is my advantage. I can stand up in front of a crowd of people, look at the audience with my eyes wide open, but yet still it's closed. So I can imagine the audience in whatever way I believe, in whatever way I feel. I can imagine the audience looking at me and lingering on my every word. And when that happens, I begin to smile. I begin to get more comfortable. And when I get comfortable, the audience gets comfortable. Another thing about looking at the glass half empty or looking at the glass half full, I want you to masticate on this for a minute. The average person without a disability, namely visual impairment, has 5 senses. Unfortunately, they focus mainly on the one, which is sight. I, on the other hand, have 4 senses. I don't have sight. But because I don't have sight, I more focus on my other 4 to compensate. So here's the kicker. If you have 5, but focus on 1, but I have 4, but focus on all 4, which one of us is really disabled? Think about it for a minute. At the end of the day, you must play the hand that you are dealt. You're playing a game of poker, you get a hand, you play the hand that you're dealt. I am encouraging each and every one of you, don't just play the hand that you're dealt, play to win. Play to win. Complaining about your situation is normal, but it's not productive. It doesn't help you, and it definitely doesn't help the persons around you. I am encouraging each and every one of you, wherever you are in life, when life gives you lemons, don't settle for merely lemonade. You deserve more. Once you can find out your why, and then you move into why not, then you can plan how, and you just have to do it. My name is Marlon Parieaho. I am a future distinguished Toastmaster, a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and I encourage all and sundry that when life gives you lemons, do not settle for just lemonade. Mr. Toastmaster meeting.
Let's give a round of applause for Marlon. Exceptional, exceptional. Well, Marlon, I didn't know why I came to the meeting today, but I guess you're the reason why I came, so that's how I got here.
Yes.
And according to our agenda, I think we have a question and answer session that's going to be conducted by our president. I'm going to put my question in the chat and turn it over to Cynthia Stott.
Right.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you. Wow, that was amazing, Marlon. I have been anticipating this ever since I met you at 3 o'clock in the morning on WhatsApp.
When you say like that, you know, it's
Right. So put your questions in the chat and I'll read them out. And we do have a question already or a comment from Kathleen Pill. You say you just show up. Can you describe what it feels like to not want to go past obstacles and then to want to go past obstacles?
Oh, that's quite easy. If you are living in your house, because if you are staying in your home because you want to stay there, then you are living in a home. But if you are staying at home because you're afraid to go out, then you are living in a prison of your own. I didn't want to be living in a prison. And I thought that, listen, if there are things that you can help and there are things that you cannot help. I can't help being blind. I can't help that. But I can help how I treat with it and how I approach it. I was of the opinion that I had to do this big, fantastic thing to really get attention. But sometimes merely just walking the street gives you that gives you that oomph to inspire someone. Simply by carrying my child to the health center, it inspires person. Because there's a guy who asked me, why didn't you let somebody else carry your daughter to the health center? And I would say, because I'm her father. What else is there? The fact that I could turn up is irrelevant. And that, I do hope, inspired him, especially those fathers in my country who carry their children nowhere and they have every sense at their disposal that they should try to be a dad rather than just be a donor. I hope that
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand or just unmute your mic. And Victor, could you watch for raised hands for me, please? And we have other questions and comments in the chat from Victor. Knowing that people tend to pity you, what harmless ways have you adopted to free them to just be normal with you?
I smile a lot. And I'm being honest. There was a time that I had a colleague that literally cried when he saw me with my key. Cried, a grown man crying. And I had to literally comfort him. And I laughed at the situation because I was saying, wait, he should be comforting me. But you know what? As I say, just laugh at the situation. And I tell people, I want assistance, not sympathy.
Yes.
Sympathy affords me nothing. If you assist me to cross the street, fine. But don't say, oh, I'm so sorry. That doesn't help me at all. And as I say, I laugh a lot. There are people who, there was a time that I was going to cross the street and I was waiting for the light to turn green. We have one of those fancy lights that give the little bell. And I remember there's a lady, she stood and she said, oh no, don't do it. You have so much to live for. She thought I was going to jump in traffic. And I just laughed immensely. And I have a blog that I started blogging about it because it was so my answer to that is just laugh. Laugh.
Yes. Laughter heals everything.
Yep.
And Margaret has her hand up. Margaret, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Yes, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
And a special good afternoon to you, Toastmaster Marlon Parieaho.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi. I would like to know, Toastmaster Marlon, what is the most challenging part of being blind for you? What is the most challenging part?
That is simple. It is not true to say that I'm this big bundle of joy. Yes, there are things that I do regret. I have 3 children. One is 18, no, 3 girls. One is 18, one is 11, and one is 5. And my biggest regret is that I will never see them in their wedding dresses getting married to their husbands. That is one thing that upsets me, but I know that come hell or high water, I will be giving them away at the altar. No one can take that away from me. I will stand there and I will give my daughter away. I'll make sure I look at the husband to be in a grumpy way, because that's what all fathers are supposed to do. That's my God-given right to be, you're taking my daughter. But that's one regret that I have, that I will never see them in the white dresses, getting married and looking all happy. That's the one regret that I have.
Beautiful, beautiful. And in the chat, we have with Cassandra that said, awe-inspiring. She was so inspired by your message. And Lynn Fraley says, was your glaucoma related to other physical problems you had at the time? It's the nurse in me that wants to know, she says.
Oh, well, that's a really funny question, because no one in my family has glaucoma. For my second daughter, she has a tinge of it. Now, I tell people my eye condition was glaucoma, but that's only partially right. My condition is glaucoma and the ignorance of youth. Because I thought that glaucoma was for all the people, and I ignored it. I'm being very honest, I ignored it. I was given eye drops, and I said, until a day I woke up and I heard a pop. And that's when my optic nerve decided to part ways with my eyeball. And that was it. It was steady, it was aggressive, and then it went. I found out that I'm hypertensive and diabetic long after
Jesus.
glaucoma. So I'm not sure if that was the cause, but I doubt it, because the doctor would have told me that. Now I am fit and I am healthy, almost 2 strokes later. But sometimes with guys, they need a bit of a kick. You know, we don't really, we have to really go to the very extreme in order to get things done. So that's how I think. And I know in her case, because for the nurse, because my wife is a nurse, they're thinking that glaucoma is something that's preventable. And yes, it is. But not if you're arrogant and ignorant, and you're thinking that's nothing, that you're somehow, because of your youth, that you're somehow invincible. So, yeah.
Yes, the invincibility of youth.
Yes.
And Victor asks, as the last question, since there are criminals you have arrested, are you provided a bodyguard?
No, definitely not. I'll be honest with you. I have arrested many persons, and I travel to work every single day. And 5 people who I arrested helped me cross the street already. Because I've never been brutal to anyone. I've never been unfair to anyone. And they literally told me that, say, you remember you arrested me? I'm like, really? Like, yeah, okay. So what are you gonna do? I say, well, I realize you're crossing the street, so do you want to help cross the street? And I said, yes. And this is because fear. There's a book called Who Moved My Cheese? And in that book, it says, the fear in your mind is greater than the danger that actually exists. And at that time, I was afraid that people who I arrested would do me in, not realizing that there were no one who wanted to do me in.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Beautiful. Are there any last words that you want to give to us, parting words that you want to give to us?
most definitely for all of you on your Toastmasters journey, and for all of you who are considering becoming a Toastmaster, it is the best investment that you will ever make. Not just for yourself, but for the people who you impact simply by showing up. When you can communicate well, when you can lead well, you automatically become employable and desirable. But you also automatically become a beacon for other people to look up to. And there's no better feeling than someone who says, what you said or what you did impacted my life. And that is what I have accomplished this and that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, one more round of applause for that amazing presentation. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. And at this moment, will we stop the recording because we are going to have a 5.
And let us know when they're great.
Is everybody gone?
I believe they are. Yes.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to part 2 of the Leaders Worldwide weekly meeting. And if you heard me say just before welcome back, ignore that because that's not something that I do. We are moving on to the prepared speeches section of this meeting, and that means that we're going to involve 2 other players. One player is the timer and the other player is the evaluator. Will the timer please give us the timing constraints, including the timing cards for the next section of our meeting? Timer?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Victor. The time for the prepared speeches is 5 to 7 minutes. During the starting of the speech, the start card will be shown at 5 minutes, green light, at 6 minutes, yellow light, and at 7 minutes, red light. 30 seconds of buffer time will be given for the speaker to wind up his speech. So, back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Give you a round of applause for that contribution. The next person I introduce to you is the evaluator for speaker number 1. Will the evaluator please give us the speech path, the project, and the timing for our first speaker? Evaluator number 1, Cassandra Garabedian.
Today I will be evaluating Lynn Fraley. Lynn's pathway is visionary communications. She will be at level 1, and her speech will be between 5 to 7 minutes. The title of her speech is Cherish the Girls, a well-rounded approach to breast health and wellness. Lynn is a nurse with a doctoral degree from the University of California, Berkeley, and I believe she will be launching a book sometime this month. So let's give a big round of applause for Lynn. And I'd just like to stick in here that this speech, the purpose of this project is for Lynn to present a speech on any topic and to receive feedback and apply that feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for Lynn to present a speech and receive feedback from me, the evaluator. The member, Lynn, has spent time writing her speech to present to us at this meeting. Lynn will deliver a well-organized speech on her topic, and the focus, Lynn, is to present a speaking style and for us to recommend improvements that she can apply to her speech. And this speech can be humorous, informational, or any style that she chooses. And the evaluation of the speech for the second time, so that in the future, when she gets ready to present again, she can apply any recommendations that I make, or that and any rebuttals or any suggestions that the audience makes that if she feel applicable, she can present in her next speech. So Lynn, if you're ready, you can take it away. Thank you.
If you believe you can do something, or you believe you can't do something, you're right. Our beliefs are so important and have such power in our lives that I thought it would be helpful to look at a few aspects about beliefs. The first aspect is, where do your beliefs come from? The second has to do with, what actions do you take because of your beliefs? And the third has to do with the cost of not following, the cost of following. Cassandra mentioned that I'm a nurse, and I have been a nurse my whole life. And I got into nursing because I was so excited that I could help people, and I could help them heal, and I could help them follow the path. And I got involved in healthcare, and it was a long time ago. And now I know it's the third leading cause of death. And so much of what I was taught and so much of what I believed about healthcare has shifted. So we move on. The things I thought were so fantastic and wonderful, I learned had a dark side, different light sides, and it's all part of life. So the beliefs I've had in training and in several different programs that I've attended, academic credentials, is part of the process. So I want to allow you to honor your beliefs and know that it's just part of an evolution, like mine have been. So our parents helped us with beliefs. Our schools helped us with the beliefs. When it comes to healthcare, I have to laugh. There's one of these expressions that we've all heard: ask your doctor, ask your doctor. I think these poor doctors must say, oh no, don't ask me anymore. I don't have all the answers. It's a little bit of a caveat, it's like ask the authority. Well, you ask the authority who most relates to the information you want. You don't just ask any doctor about any advice unless you just don't care about the depth of the knowledge of that person. Some people will say, if you want to get a different opinion, you ask different specialists, an acupuncture, an herbalist, a chiropractor, a orthopedist, a podiatrist. You find different specialties who might complement the beliefs that you're looking to develop. Trust the science is another expression we hear. Oh, absolutely trust the science, and know that there are many scientists who work on different parts of an issue, just as there are many doctors who work on different parts of the issue. It has to come down to being willing to look at what it is that is our truth within our belief. One of the expressions one of the stories I talk about in presentations I've given to all different kinds of audiences is a reminder of how closely we're connected physically to our belief system. Now, I want you to imagine taking a lemon and you roll it in your hands and you lay it on your cutting board, and you take a nice sharp knife and you cut the lemon because you're going to put it either in a beverage or a salad. You're not quite sure yet. And this lemon juice is dripping from the knife. And you might even touch it to your tongue or your lips and just taste this tartness. Some lemons are more tart, some lemons have a little more sweetness. Is there anyone here, by a show of hands, who's not salivating in any way when I mention the lemon? Did you get into the show of hands? Did you get into tasting the lemon? I mean, that was just I don't even have a lemon to show you. Christian Northrup is very active on social media and is quite a powerhouse in terms of health and well-being. A quote from her is, beliefs are actually biological constructs in the body. Our cells contain our memory bank. So if you wonder how important your beliefs are, just realize that they direct much of what goes on in your body and in your healing. I have never seen a condition that at some level there wasn't healing involved with it. The body has a tremendous potential to heal, and our beliefs have a great deal of influence with that. So what actions, the second point is, what actions are you taking to further your beliefs? What information might you truly be seeking, even if it's information that rocks your world a little bit? Something that I was recently acquainted with was the idea of natural flavorings. You know, natural flavorings seems like a good idea. Who would not want natural flavorings? I'm not going to spoil the meeting by telling you what some of the natural flavorings are. Just trust that if it's natural flavorings, it may not be something that you want to be eating. The third has to do with cost. People will often say, well, how much does it cost? How much does this other action cost? What's it going to cost me? What's the price? I can't afford it. And that's kind of a default. At this point in time, and we have been given an enormous amount of information, disinformation, confusing information. And that truthfully hasn't changed much in my life regarding health and wellness. There are tests that people are told they absolutely should take. If they don't take them, they'll die. Someone else might say, do you have any idea what's in that test? Do you have any idea how that compromises yourself and your health and well-being? And so the cost isn't how much does it cost. The cost may very well be, what will it cost you to not shift your belief and not take actions that are more congruent with your values? We all talk about values, but beliefs and values are very closely aligned. So when it comes to beliefs, make sure that you are following your belief, that you are grounded with your belief, that it serves you, and it may be very different from someone else's, your family, your relatives, your friends, your co-workers. It doesn't matter because they have their beliefs. I did write the book, Cherish the Girls, a well-rounded approach to breast health and wellness, and beliefs were so important to me. That became my first chapter. So beliefs can be shifted. Many times in our life, we're confronted with things that is like this. I call it character building, more things that challenge us. And it's a so what, really. It's just part of our evolution, part of our life, part of what we need to do to be complete, whole humans. And each of us has our own path. We get the support we need to do the work we need to do. And if you don't find supports in your own circle, go outside your circle. Find people who can support the kind of growth that you want that may be different than that of your best friend, your relative, your spouse, your mentor, other mentors who may not be following quite how you want to track with your belief development. Your beliefs are yours. They can change. They grew up at a time when you may have moved past the beliefs, but you may want to hold on to them. We all love our comfort. I encourage you to do the best that you can to explore your beliefs and make them the most empowering that you can hold. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, thank you ever so much. A very, very potent topic you've chosen to speak on, and certainly it dovetails with our theme today, overcoming obstacles, because some people's biggest obstacle is what they believe. Thank you for that talk. Mr. Timer, will you give us 1 minute for individuals who wish to send a private note to our speaker? Let me know when it's up, beginning right now.
Sure, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you ever so much. And now we move on to our next speaker, speaker number 2, and evaluator number 2. And Kim, I just want to say that is such a striking photo of you. It It looks like you're just sitting there looking at me. It doesn't even look like a picture. Very good photography there. And would you announce the speech path, project, and timing for our second speaker? Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I will. So the next speech is, the next speaker is Tala bin Hamid, and his speech is Connect with Storytelling. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. This member is completing a project, is focusing on using stories in speech or creating a speech that is a story. The member may use this type of story, personal, well-known fiction, or one of his own creations. So I'm to listen for a well-organized speech that is a story and includes a story. With that said, I'm also focusing on facial expressions and vocal variety, as those are two things that he wants to excel at. Back to you, Victor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. Are you ready with the 5 to 7 minute speeches?
Oh, actually, I apologize. It says on the agenda, it is a 10 to 12 minute speech.
Okay.
No, wait.
Is
it is 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
I just shared the evaluation sheet with you, so let me just,
No, I have the evaluation sheet. The agenda says 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, okay.
But you are 5 to 7 minutes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Talha, don't forget to pin the timer. This speech is about a little incident that changed Talha's perspective on life. He is a chartered accountant by profession.
Someone needs to mute.
Toastmaster.
There's a hot mic. Can we mute that, please?
I guess it's muted. This speech is about an incident that changed Talha's perspective on life. He's a chartered accountant by profession and a Toastmaster since June 2016. Currently, he is serving as District Director, District 122 TC, and President of Karachi Toastmasters Club, which is his home club, as well as the VPE of Quantum Leap Toastmasters Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to give his talk entitled, everybody knows what the title is, right? Entitled, The Day I Ran Into God. Ladies and gentlemen, Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Victor. I hope I'm audible.
You are.
Okay, great. Steam was rising from the bonnet of my little car. Steam was issuing from my ears. The temperature gauge on the dashboard showed a bright red H. The temperature gauge in my brain indicated nuclear meltdown. I desperately looked at the roadside for any sign of a motor repair shop as I jerked my car forward with gentle taps from my foot to prevent it from exploding. And did I mention that the engine was right under my bottom? Hello, friends and neighbors. Did you ever feel that bad things keep happening to you for no rhyme or reason? That God had a bone to pick with you? That you are somehow chosen by the universe to be the guinea pig for every new misery it invents? The sordid affair began a few weeks ago. My phone rang. It was my better half. And no, we aren't in the habit of exchanging warm pledges of love during the workday, so it had to be bad. Did something happen to her, or the kids, or my mom? It turned out it was our little Japanese van that she uses for her kids and daily commute to and from school. Now this car, charmingly named Suzuki Every, is a wonder. It is tinier than a subcompact, has a 600cc engine, yet it can seat 5 people and 4 more children or midgets. Its engine is under the seat and the battery is beneath the cargo area. Since it's a car made for the Japanese domestic market, it is super reliable, and that was its undoing. You see, the car had overheated, spewed steam, and my wife had left it parked on the roadside and hailed the cab. I contacted a repairman and he gave the grim verdict. The engine had died a fiery death and needed to be replaced. Needless to say, it was an expensive process that cost an arm and a leg and made a considerable dent in my savings. All that was done with the car repaired and properly tested. Imagine my surprise when I received another call in the office from my wife. This time I thought it really would be an eloquent note of love and undying loyalty. Smiling, I picked up the phone and said, "Hi, honey. No time for pleasantries. The car overheated again. I left it on the roadside. Please go and fetch it." Grr. I left office in my official vehicle, handed it over to Mademoiselle, and reluctantly walked out to our stubborn box on wheels. It was not on fire. That was a start. Then I turned the ignition. It started without fuss. I grew more confident. A mile or so later, the dreaded red lamp ignited again. My brain started to sizzle. What the frick, God? I've lost all my savings already. What are you trying to make me do? Do you have no heart? How do you expect me to deal with it? For once, give us a break. My admonitions rose in pitch and intensity along with the heat under my bottom. By the time I spotted a motor repair shop on the roadside, we both were about to go up in flames. I explained the problem to the technician. He said, "It looks like your car is losing water or coolant. Let me take a look." He opened the bonnet, did some testing, removed a pipe, blew into it, and then fixed it back. Then he handed the keys back to me. "What?" I said. "You are good to go." There was a bubble inside the water lining, which was blocking the cooling circulation. I fixed it. I started the car, mashed the accelerator. The 3-cylinder 660 engine roared with the sound and fury of a Ferrari V8. Still, no red light and no heat beneath my dash. I asked the repairman, "Okay, how much do I have to pay?" "Sir, give whatever you want, and no need if you don't have anything." I stared at him, open mouth. "Come again?" "Sir, I said you don't have to pay anything or pay whatever you want." Here was this person who had fixed a life and car-threatening situation, yet he was humane enough to forego any payment despite the fact that I clearly owned a car and I could have paid anything he asked. And here I was complaining to God about my predicament, whining about my first world problems, somehow feeling entitled to glide through life without any troubles, and screaming my head off at the slightest sign of a roadblock. To this day, I find it hard to believe the supernatural generosity and kindness that the repairman showed, and nothing that belongs on this earth. I believe after ranting and raving and complaining to God that day, he came out of the shadows and met me at the roadside, and he gave me an almighty slap in the face without moving a finger. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, how many times have you felt that it was all too much for you? How many times have you raised your head up to the sky and screamed? The universe listens, and it has ways of easing the pain. All we need to do is to shut our mouths, open our hearts, open our eyes, and look around. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Talha bin Hamid. Mr. Timer, give us 1 minute for those of a mind to write a note to Mr. bin Hamid. Thank you. Tick-tock. God will do that. Thank you so much. Our next portion of the meeting is the table topics portion. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you our next moderator of the impromptu speeches, Sally Elizabeth Reyes. Take it away, Sally.
Good afternoon. This is the fun part. We have such a wonderful, appropriate thought of the day, which is overcoming obstacles. And we've certainly heard a lot of them today. And we think we have problems. I've been screaming at the telephone for days. So I have a question. Could you perhaps raise your hand? Lynn, did you raise your hand or just swat a fly? I have a question for anyone who would like to address this.
I'm waiting for the question.
Okay, tell me about a new friend who helped you find new solutions. Oh, Lynn.
It's not fair since I gave a speech, so I'll wait till everybody else has an opportunity.
Okay, anyone else would like to step in?
But I have a great story.
Okay.
May I? No.
Who just spoke up?
Yes, yes, please, Lynn. Tell us your great story.
Okay. I'll tell you my great story. Very serendipitously, I met a new friend who we have so many shared values with. And beyond that, this person is taking me to a whole new level of understanding about so many things in life that it shocked me. In fact, every single freaking day I learned something new. She happens to be vegan. She knows a lot about health and well-being. You know, I was a mediator until we learned a whole lot more about why people become vegan or vegetarian. And what's shocking to me is that how little I knew as a health provider and health practitioner. I wouldn't say a mentor. I really consider myself a mentor, but the idea that there's so much to know about health and well-being and what nourishes us. And today I had the most incredible chai tea made from raw nuts and raw. I'm watching the timer. From raw nuts and actually Thai spice that is nourishing. And star anise is one of the spices in this chai tea, and it's healing. It helps, I don't know if it helps heal us from radiation damage. I can't keep it all straight, but the idea of making this incredibly nourishing, fresh chai tea with a tablespoon of walnut, a tablespoon of almond, and fresh organic spices, I'm telling you, my beliefs have expanded. So just being open to different opportunities, different viewpoints, and just knowing how much the body always wants to heal. Back to you, my dear.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I align with you. I always recommend garam marsala cures everything and makes it taste better. But I love experimenting and especially with new people who can make your life so much bigger. It's a joy.
Sally, speaking of new people, Ray Ribeiro is new to our meeting, and he says he is willing to do a little impromptu speaking.
Thank you, Ray. I have another question. What was one of the most outstanding barriers, and how did you find a solution?
Outstanding barriers. See, fellow Toastmasters and guests, types of barriers. Well, there's one barrier that I just can't overcome. The 24-hour day. You see, I have a lot of things on my to-do. And when I turn around, it seems like that to-do list grows and grows, multiplies like rabbits. It just can't be ignored. But my solution is simple. How come I can't get more than 24 hours in a day just to have the pleasure of crossing off items off my list? I just don't know why I can't overcome that barrier. Would be the climax of my day, my week, and my life. But no, I'm afraid that I have to be an ordinary person who's been given 24 hours in a day like everybody else. But everybody else just wants to be special and just have that 24-hour day. Wait, I got an idea. I could have a 25-hour day. Oh, wait, that's when we have to do the daylight savings time ending, but that's way in November, and I got to give up an hour in March to do that. I just can't overcome this barrier, and that's the climax of my talk. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ray.
Excellent.
That was terrific. I have another question. Have you ever overcome an obstacle only to find out it was actually a blessing? Would someone like to address the last question?
Yolanta has offered. Yolanta, are you still willing to speak up impromptu?
I sure can. Thank you, Caitlin and Sally, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. I'm having a little issue with my lighting today and it's not working for me. I apologize. And my name is Jolanta with a J, and to answer your question, yes, that has actually happened to me not once, but on several occasions. I could probably think of some where I have probably in my career disregarded opportunities that I did not quite see fit, but then ended up coming back into my circle for some reason. Sometimes I kind of thought, well, I can't do something, but then lo and behold, I can. So, well, it's all about mostly for me just trying to realign myself with what it is I'm passionate about, and that is where some of these blessings in disguise come about, and sometimes taking recommendation from other people can also help too. I always look for guidance in certain things, and one of the things I can recall is joining Toastmasters, which I did about 12 years ago, or maybe a little longer now, and coming out of my shell and looking for mentorship, which eventually I have a great mentor who helps me, and this has been a blessing in disguise for me to complete what I signed up to do. And so thank you so much for the question, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thanks again. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Mr. Victor Irving Jenkins has to learn about the unmute button.
Oh, stop it. Mr. Timer, did everyone qualify time-wise on the table topics participation?
Yes, Toastmaster of the day, Victor. Everyone qualified with the time.
And grammarian, did everyone use the word of the day?
I forgot to mention that. Thank you. No one used it.
Okay, and we're going to move on to the next section of our meeting, which
No,
are called...
Mr. Ray Rivero used it twice at least.
Oh my
And
God.
he used the theme of the day at least once. He was brilliant.
Terrific.
Well, that's the climax of it.
I beg your pardon.
So moving on, we are inviting the general evaluator for the evaluation portion of the meeting. And it's time to get excited again because guess who's the general evaluator? Ta-da! But evaluations, just like every other aspect of Toastmasters, is characterized by timing constraints. And the people who give evaluations, they have to adhere to timing constraints as well. Mr. Timer, what are the timing constraints for an evaluation? Mr. Timer, what
Oh,
are
yes,
the
Victor.
timing
I had a network
constraints?
issue. Sorry for that. Could you please repeat it?
Tell us the timing constraints with the colors and everything for the evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day and the general evaluator. The time cuts for the evaluation time duration is 2 to 3 minutes. During the starting of the evaluation, the start card is shown at 2 minutes. The green light, 30 seconds, the yellow light, and at 3 minutes, you have the red light, and you've been given 30 minutes of buffer time to wind up your evaluations. So back to the general evaluator.
Why don't we give him 30 seconds instead? Give him a round of applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our first evaluator who's going to evaluate speaker number 1, help me welcome Cassandra Garabedian. Cassandra, don't forget to pin the timer so you won't go out of time.
And let's see, timer is, okay. So Lynn, great speech. I really enjoyed your speech. You were very clear for as far as with your tone, your tone was just right on. You're very calm, very soothing. For the topic, I thought it was going to be one of using a lot of big words, being that you were in the profession that you're in, but you made it very clear, very concise language that all of us could understand, layman's terms. I love the way you used the example with the lemon, because we all could identify it. We could taste that lemon. That was great. The gestures were great. Your eye contact was exemplary. Great. Science, trust in science, beliefs, values, we all could understand that. Character building, complete, whole, healing, support, influence, all those words we could connect with. The one thing I would love for you to have done was to use more of those examples, because by using examples like that, we connect, we understand, we could feel, we can identify with. So use more of those the next time around, use more examples like that, because in that way we connect with you, we understand that. As far as with the exploring those beliefs, give us those examples so we can identify, explore those beliefs. Let's see, what else did I have here? Vocal variety, you had that. You gave those ups and downs. You took us through weaving that. So overall, great speech. I loved it. And I'm sure everyone else did.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you. Nice evaluation.
Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Give her a round of applause. And now to evaluate speaker number 2, we have none other than Kimmy Avery. Let's give it up for Kimmy Avery.
So I'm waiting to be pinned. Is Tala going to be with us? Can somebody pin Tala? Well, can somebody pin him? Or
pin my window, not
there.
Me.
Oh, okay. I had both of them. I had both of them pinned before. So anyway, Talha, I thought you did a great job with your stories. It was 3 small stories within the big story of God, right? Of the day, I can't remember the title exactly, but the day you had a conversation with God. That wasn't exactly it, but the story built up. I thought they were captivating, each one described in detail. And the first one added with, you saw the temperature gauge, your car was overheating, and then you made the final oof, which was that you were sitting on the engine. In case something were to happen, that would be pretty terrifying, right? I thought that was really nice. I like that as a great exclamation point. I wondered what the temperature was where you were in Pakistan at that day, because that, if it was really hot, from my perspective, it's always hot in Pakistan. I don't think that's true. However, if it had been a hot day, that would have just like put an extra climax on that story. Did you see that? Let's see. You made sure we understood that a phone call during the day from your wife you knew it was an emergency. She was not going to bug you during the day unless something was really wrong. And then those 2 stories of the car there was, again, each one built up. It accelerated the situation. I thought that was great. And your hand gestures went from, here, and your gestures and your facial expressions, and like, you were like this by the end. And I could really relate to that. I think many people can. And you asked engaging questions to keep us listening intently to your stories, because we were mesmerized, at least I was. You paused at the right times. Your speed and tempo accelerated during your crises. I thought that was great. A great use of vocal variety, and that tempo was really powerful because it made us feel the extreme situations as they mounted. And then at one point you're yelling at God, like you're like, why? I thought that was really nice in terms of moving the tempo and accelerating your stories. I have a hard time thinking about what you could expand on. And you have a great smile. I'd love to see you smile. Obviously, you were telling dramatic stories, so you were, painful expressions, and maybe adding some smiling at the end would be a great stretch. I had a hard time finding anything to augment what you had already done. Great job, powerful experience. Thank you, Talha.
Thank you so much,
very
Kimmy.
much.
It's an honor hearing all that from you. It truly is. Thank you so much.
Thank you ever so much. And now, Timer did both. In fact, Timer, throughout the meeting, did anyone under timing constraints go over or under their requirements, or did everyone qualify time-wise?
All the role takers have qualified the time except the keynote speaker. Keynote speaker Marlon Parieaho, 1 minute and 15 seconds over the time. Other than that, everyone are qualified. That is the
Okay, thank
climax
you once
of this
again.
timer.
And if you are noticing on the agenda, the next item is to call for report from the timer and the grammarian. We're going to consider the timer report already done, but the grammarian, I think they have some filler word report and some use of the word of the day. Grammarian, take it away, and that is Yogesh. No, that's
Toastmaster Varsha.
Washa. Yes, I'm all ears. Let me hear what you got.
Yes. So, am I allowed to share my screen or the report?
I don't know that you have the capacity to do that, but it's not
Okay.
necessary when you give
I'll
your
do that
report.
quickly if you like, but
Yeah.
it does take a little extra time.
She
Okay.
doesn't need to
So,
do that.
yeah. So, for the benefit of all the Toastmasters, I'll just read out the key points. Word of the day has been used by 4 of the members, and those 4 are Toastmaster Cynthia, Toastmaster Victor, Toastmaster Ray, and Toastmaster Sally. Now, there are, in fact, many outstanding usages of words and phrases. Few of them I want to quote it for our guests and the members: philanthropic, anticipating, invincibility, then hold on to the seats, without further ado, misperception, cope, bunch of challenges, sky is the limit, and when life gives you living, why to settle for mere lemonade? Then trust the signs, empowering, captivating, mesmerized, accelerated, mounted, desperately, God had a bond, misery. In fact, Toastmaster Tala had many: commute, midget, grim, fiery. And there are few of the website that can be looked up for improving our grammar usages. I will be dropping the link in the chat box. Please go through them and improve your grammar day by day. Now, as I can see, there are not so many usages of the word of the day. I would like to sabotage one of the Toastmaster in the participants to come up to the stage and tell us the use of the word climax in the form of any sentence. Um, will it be you, Toastmaster Victor, journal evaluator of the day? Can you use it for the benefit of the participants? The word climax.
The climax of an effective meeting is the request for people to join us a second time.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Victor. And here comes an end to my report. Over to you, Journal Evaluator. Thank you so much.
Okay. And now, the gentleman evaluator, it is my duty to briefly evaluate the proceedings. I want to commend the person who put a G in the front of all the guests. That makes it very easy, very simple for the person who are welcoming the guests to know who the guests are. Second thing, beginning the meeting exactly on time is to be commended because often that doesn't happen. And when you start a meeting on time, you give the people who are attending the meeting the idea that you are a formidable club. In terms of the participants, the Toastmaster, and I think we all know what a Toastmaster was, the Toastmaster kept things going very well and stuck with the theme of the meeting. Actually did a little more talking than was necessary, but we'll just continue to pray for him that he stops doing that. The table topics master, the table topics portion of the meeting. In the table topics portion of the meeting, I think the meeting could be enhanced if the person moderating the table topics would briefly explain what table topics is. Although all of us are Toastmasters, occasionally there's someone at the meeting who is not a Toastmaster, and explaining table topics kind of get the people in attendance, get them in the mindset. Something simple like the table topics portion is when we test our impromptu speaking skills. And when I give you a question, if you don't like the question I give you, you can speak about whatever you want as long as you speak from 1 to 2 minutes. Also, the table topics master will remind people to use the word of the day. Go the extra mile and remind every participant to use the word of the day. The word of the day is an added requirement for Toastmasters because we want you not only to be able to speak impromptu, but to be able to speak on a certain theme impromptu. Apart from that, I would say one area where we all can improve is we must make it clear that we want you to join. We have many people visiting our clubs, Some people come by the club for one time, but we must ask the question, do you want to join our club? We are looking for members. What can we do to encourage you to join our club? And then, of course, the generally evaluated can't spend the whole time talking when there's other things to be accomplished in the meeting. That brings my evaluation of the meeting to a close. There's more to say, there's more that we can do, and we encourage those visiting us to visit us next time. And remember what I said, we are open for new members. And now I introduce to you our VP of Education, none other than Mrs. Kathleen Peel. Give it up for Kathleen Peel.
You know, I would like to invite Ms. Lynn Fraley to give us her experience of using our club agenda site, Easy Speak.
Thank you,
Lynn?
Catherine. Thank you,
Yeah.
Catherine. Let me say that I came to it reluctantly. I had fingernails going down the walls. I'm so used to having people tuck this in and do my work for me. It's embarrassing, really. So I spoke to Cynthia on Friday. She's going, I noticed you're not on, you didn't do it. Oh yeah, well, Kathleen sent me the information and what have you. It was easy. I look at a lot of stuff online. You have to figure things out, and they put this together easy. And the other thing I know about doing new behaviors is it puts new brain pathways together. So I would encourage everyone here to go to Easy Speak. If you don't have the login information, it's simple. It's coming to the belief and climaxing that you can actually do the information that you need to put in. It's even checking, I'll go to the meeting, I won't go to the meeting. There are a lot of simple things. So thank you so much for your amazing patience, Kathleen, and Cynthia for dragging us to the finish line, dragging us. Well, but it's like we should just give it up. If this was our job, we would do it yesterday. If this was a paying client, we would do it tomorrow, yesterday, the day before yesterday. It's like, all right, and I'm speaking to myself. Thank you. Grow up and just do the freaking work. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're so elegant and funny. I also want to let you know that I will send out a little video demonstrating these procedures. They're not that difficult. We all can do it. We are grown-ups around here. So that we can then graduate into becoming on the TEDx stage killer masterpieces that we are. And so with that, I would like to hand the microphone over to our president, Cynthia, to speak with the guests.
Before we do that, Cynthia, before we do that,
Yes.
the general evaluation, there's a term that we as Toastmasters want to work to eliminate from our vernacular, and that term is I would like to. Stop saying I would like to and just do it.
Okay.
It
It's
is my
not, I
pleasure
would-
to.
or something, but I would like to. I give you Cynthia. I give you Cynthia start.
Superb. Beautiful. Thank you, Kathleen. And thank you, Victor. I love that. I love that. And I also love that you invited our guests to join us. Yes, we absolutely have room for you. We're about 40 members, but we want to grow to be actually 100 members. That's been my vision for 10 years, but way before this club was started 1 year ago. So I would love to see that. And part of that is going to be the TEDx and also the speakers bureau that we're hoping to have available by June 30th. And we're working at least phase 1. And so we're working on that. We're going to practice a lot of our speeches for TEDx here in the Speechcraft room and breakout rooms. We are excellent at using our breakout rooms, so we know how to do that. Don't worry that you won't have time to speak if we have 100 members even, because we have had up to 18 speakers speaking at one time, and we definitely have room for you. I'd also like to announce that we don't meet on the 5th Monday of the month. It's silent. So next Monday, January 31st, is the 5th Monday of the month. So we will be silent. We don't take any other holidays throughout the year except for the last 2 weeks of the year. So we take the 5th Monday of every month and the last 2 weeks of the year. With that said, I think that's all of our announcements that we have. Is that right, Kathleen? Anything else that I forgot to announce?
You might just want to advise us about the speech contest, the date.
Oh my goodness, yes. How could I not? We are having a mega speech contest, international speech contest on February 17th. The Google Doc to sign up should be out soon, and you will have to submit your eligibility documents and your title of your speech when you sign up, but we have room for at least 10 speakers. If we have more than 10, we'll talk to the team and see if we can do it. But we definitely have room for 10 speakers. We want everyone to take the opportunity to participate in the international speech. So watch your WhatsApp in the WhatsApp group and also in your email for that Google document. And I was promised it by the end of today, so probably tomorrow I can send it out. Great. Thanks, Kathleen, for reminding me. And it's February 17th at 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific San Francisco time. And I apologize to our afternoon folks, but I wanted to make it at the same time, evening time, that the area contest would be, because the area contest is going to be on March 10th, and that will be in the evening. We're still deciding on the division contest, but it will probably be in the evening as well. Is that enough, Kathleen?
Yes, I thank you very much for that valuable information.
Great. And with that, I'd love to take your takeaways. What did you learn today? What are you taking away with you? And I would like to start with our guests. I'd love to ask Ray, how was your experience and what are you taking away?
Well, Cynthia, I wanted to come here first because I visited in October and I noticed how you were doing your online speech. I've been trying to figure out how to do that, but the truth is, it's one of those, I have to do it after the 24-hour rule that I seem to be bumping up against. So, but I'm really, really interested in learning more about how you did that. And just taking a look at what you already have on the dashboard, you're more than doing things right. That's like something I want to just feed off on and learn more about, just sort of figuring out what I can learn here and maybe take back to what I'm learning in my other 3 clubs in District 28 out in Michigan.
Oh, great. And what was it specifically you wanted to know what we were doing? How are we doing it?
The specific is your online speechcraft.
The online speechcraft. Yes. I'd love to tell you about that. And could you private message me your email, and then I'll make arrangements. Maybe we can have a chit chat about it, and I can answer all your questions. Because yes, we're doing it differently than any other club has done it, and I think it makes a big difference. And we've had as I said, up to 18 speakers speaking in Speechcraft and the main room too, as well. Excellent. And we give away.
Go ahead.
Yes, Kathleen?
No, you finished with the chocolates. I'm sorry.
Okay. And we always give away virtual chocolates at the end of the meeting if you give us your feedback. So would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yes, but you can keep the virtual calories.
No calories and no sugar. It's completely healthful. 1, 2, 3, woo! Thank you, Ray. Awesome. And I just saw that you gave me your email, and I'm gonna put that in my text so that I can take care of that. Great. Anyone else want to share their experience or a takeaway?
Cynthia, you have a question, and I'm going to pose it to you from Jolanta Young. She said, "Can someone email me, please?
Oh, yes.
I'd like some more information. Thank you."
And I already copied it and sent it in my my text, but I didn't respond. So thank you so much, Linda, for making. And Jolenta, I will definitely email you after this, not later this evening.
Thank you, Cynthia. I can go next after Ray.
Okay, great.
And Ray, you can actually get 90 proof chocolate. Has no calories.
Ooh.
90 proof.
The dark, not quite the darkest you can get, but it has no calorie or no sugar in it.
Fabulous. And Jolanta, what was your experience? What are you taking away with you today?
I apologize for logging in a little bit later because right now it is 2 o'clock my time. I'm in the central time zone and I missed part of the speeches, but I loved the last speech I did hear. And what drew me to the club was TEDx. I'm definitely interested in learning more about the TEDx space, and I'm always learning about different things in Toastmasters, and I'm looking for advanced clubs right now too in my area. I belong to Farmtown Talkers here in Minnesota in District 6, and I would like to come back. So I'm definitely interested in learning more about your club and how I could be a part of your group. Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it. We're also having Speechcraft too, and so I'd like to see how you guys do your Speechcraft versus how we do ours, and that's what we're doing in February as well.
Awesome. Well, we can definitely talk about that. And we're a specialty club, but we're not called an advanced club. But in essence, we are an advanced club and a beginning club because we have the speech craft for beginners. But many of our speech crafters are even professional speakers, but they just want to sharpen their skills. So we are for beginners, and we are definitely for advanced. We have 4 top leaders in their countries, top district leaders in their countries, district directors. Tala bin Hamid is one of them. He is the top leader in Pakistan. He's our member. And we have one in UK and Singapore and right here in District 57. So we are, I think we're one of the few or the only one that has that many top district leaders in the club. And we've had Margaret Page speak at the keynote speaker here twice in the last year, and we had an opening speechcraft to open this club, and we had 10 top leaders in Toastmasters be our keynote speakers. So we're we're kind of like an advanced club and a beginning club because we have a speech clap, we have it all. And it's great because then we help each other, you know? So you have advanced people, and then you have brand new people, and then you have a lot of industry people that have been professional speakers for 18 years or so before they became a Toastmaster. So that's what we have here. So welcome, Jolanta, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. That's great. I love to hear that. I like the variety.
Yeah, variety and diversity. That's what we're all about. We have 50-50 international versus domestic American members, and they're all walks of life and religion and language and background and country. We're all about diversity, inclusion, and celebrating our differences together. Awesome. So does anyone else want to share? Any other guests that we have? Varsha, how was your experience? And do you have any takeaways?
I had many takeaways. I had many takeaways whenever I visit this particular club, and I feel honored that you invite me to your meetings, and especially for a beginner like me, I get to learn a lot, especially from the theme only, get over your obstacles, and then the way you all are executing, it's pretty much amazing for me, and I get to learn how in a interactive way how you're able to drive a whole meeting, and you are very supportive towards the member. That's what I love here in this club. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barsha. And thank you so much for being our wonderful grammarian, too. We really appreciate that. And would you like a virtual chocolate? Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Woo! And Yolanda, I forgot your virtual chocolate. Would you like a virtual chocolate? Okay, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Woo! and Kathleen Pill said that Varsha, you did a wonderful job as grammarian. We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Is there any more guests that want to share before we go?
Yes, Cynthia.
Yes.
I'm yeah. The best thing about today's meeting is all about, this meeting, especially in Toastmaster meeting, I see the perfect blend of that experience and the way how you handle things. Blend is always there. You don't seem, you told your club is incubated a year, but I don't see that. I feel this club is around 20 years or 30 years old.
Lots
Way
of
how things are
experience.
going on here. Yeah. The level of understanding you're having, how you're able to collaborate with yourself. That's a perfect blend between your experience and how you're fresh every moment. So that is one. And that is first takeaway. Second takeaway is seeing Roger here. Roger is our guest at our club also every time. So hi, Roger.
Yes, he is our permanent guest. I love it.
Exactly.
And thank you so much for being a wonderful timer for us too, your guest. We really appreciate it.
And I have a third takeaway, which is every time I attend the Toastmaster meeting, I do attend multiple Toastmaster meetings, at least 4 to 5 times, except my home club every week. So why I do particularly attend is because to get that vibe and motivation out. Because after every Toastmaster meeting, I don't feel like going and sleeping or doing something else, but to actively, it's kind of a, I shouldn't call it this a drug, but it's kind of a healthy drug. So Toastmaster has become a healthy drug for me. So the reason is because it's morning 2:30 here in India, but still I'm not feeling an inch of sleep here. I'm just refreshed that off.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you so much, so very much, Yogesh. That's so good of you. We do want to honor our time commitments, so we would love to talk forever and keep you awake all night.
Oh, but I need to give him his
go.
chocolate first. Let me give him his chocolate.
Okay,
would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yes, Cynthia, always.
Okay, don't let it keep you up. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo! And sweet dreams for everyone. Wishing you a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time in 2 weeks on February 7th. Bye-bye for now.
Wishing you a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cynthia.
Happy
birthday, Cynthia.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cynthia. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Till
Bye.
next time.